Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. That's a 2019 Hemi Dodge Ram. It's got the big 5.7, money lights on, and it's got a pretty common code. It's something that I've ran across before, so I want to show you guys what it is, or what I think it is, and we'll check it out, see if that's what it really is, and how I go about diagnosing it. So here's the code we have stored in it. It's your classic P0441 for EVAP purge system performance, they call it. I think the generic definition on that is incorrect purge flow, something along that line. I think what the PCM looks at, and this is without looking in service data, is it's seeing unwanted purge flow. This is usually how I see these things come in and broken. I'm just going to jump in. We'll just cut right to the chase. We'll go in live data. I've already separated a group for the EVAP purge or EVAP stuff that I always look at on Chryslers when trying to diagnose their EVAP system. They have a pretty simple system. They use a purge, but they don't use a vent valve like like General Motors or Honda or Nissan or Ford. They use this ESIM switch. I think that stands for Emissions System Integrity Monitor, if my memory serves me right. It's one of their acronyms. It's a system they've used for quite a while now. So key on, engine off. On a Dodge, usually, the ESIM switch will be open if there's no vacuum in the tank. Our fuel tank pressure should be reading 0 inches of water, and our fuel tank pressure sensor should be reading, I think, around 2.5 volts. I think they're similar to Ford. So right away, we can see that something ain't right, unless the tank has vacuum on it, which we can go verify. We'll come back here. She's capless, but you can give her the old tickler here. You can go down in there and you can push the flap open, unlike General Motors and Ford, where you have to push the two little dongers, use a little special funnel. These here you can just reach in, hit that inner flap, kind of relieve the system of suspected pressure, if you will. And we can see nothing changed. Let's go ahead and fire it up. And what we should see is the purge kick on when it hits whatever its predetermined vacuum is for the ESIM switch to go closed. We'll watch that close. But then we'll see our voltage is off. It's going to be reading unrealistic, inches of water here, unrealistic vacuum on the system. And then that's what sets the code. So let me fire it up for us. Truck's running right now, and what we're looking for, because it may seem kind of silly, is like, a couple things we're looking for right now is the purge valve stuck open, beyond the fuel tank pressure sensor being broken, clearly broken, or something in the wiring that's pulling our voltage down, corrosion perhaps. If the valve was stuck open, we would have seen a decrease in vacuum like it is right now. So right now it's purging at 10%, and we can see the ESIM switch already went closed. The fuel tank pressure sensor, despite being skewed, way off track, it's still reading, it's still functioning. So that's that. Not much more to look at. The main problem here is, I guess, is what I wanted to show you, is to make sure you're doing, just key on, engine off. It's sitting at atmospheric pressure. Is the ESIM switch open? Is the fuel tank pressure sensor sitting near 0? And is the voltage, I believe it's going to be somewhere between 2.3 and say 2.6 volts, somewhere there. And in this case it isn't. So we really don't need to go any further, but we can also see purge valve works. It is drawn into a vacuum. Now if I shut the key off and turn the key back on, this ESIM switch should stay closed for a certain period of time. So let me do that. Okay, we're back in the run position. Yeah, our ESIM switch is closed, and it will sit there and stay closed until the vacuum finally bleeds off the tank, or we go give it the old French tickler in the gas hole there. So we can do that. Let me, I can't slow that little guy down, but I should be able to go back there, bleed the pressure off system. We should watch this switch go open. So let me go do that for you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. That should have bled the pressure off the system. Didn't feel like there was much on it. Maybe it did it at the same time, or it did it, you know, when I was walking back there, but that's what I would expect to see. Anyhow, let's quit fussing. Let's get it up in the air. And let's find the fuel tank pressure sensor. Lives up by the filler neck on these Hemi Dodge Rams, and see if the connector's all green and crusty, or if we just have a bad sensor. There we go. Get the lock out of there. Oh, sweet, she's not all crusty. All right, well, let's have a look at scan tool now. Now that's unplugged, so in case you're disoriented, this is the filler neck. This is the fender liner, and this is what they call a tire. Driver's side rear. All right, so open circuit voltage is 5 volts. Oh, that's funny, it gives me a max of only 3.9. Oh, that did work, okay. So what we want to do is just see if the wiring integrity is good. I'm going to assume it is. I'm up here with a little LED test light, and we're going to jumper the ground to the signal, which is, blue is orange, I believe, is the signal. Blue with white is the ground. Really tiny pins on this sucker, so we're going to have to be careful. We're just very gingerly going to touch it here with a test light. Let me see if I can see good enough to do this. I'm just going to kind of hold the test light into the signal side here. Oh, bear with me here, folks. Even just me touching this and my fingers and stuff touching the frame, I can see it's already pulling down the signal. Then I'm going to touch this other wire to ground, and it should drop it down to 0 volts. And it does not. I figured that it would. And that's probably because we are using an LED. So we're just gonna go old school. I should have just grabbed a regular test light, but I didn't. I don't know why. Let's see here, I'm gonna do this again. Going old school. Let's see, make sure I have the right wires. Coming in there, coming in there. And there we are, we're old school ground to signal wire, pulling it straight down. And now I'm gonna go 5 volt reference to signal wire to make sure that it doesn't change. I don't expect to see any change here other than 5 volts. So I'm jumping the 5 volts to the signal wire right now. And we're golden. And this should be our 5 volt reference right there. So that, what are we at, 4.9. Oops. I got this thing flipped around here. I do. Okay, let me try this again. I saw it pulled that signal wire down. Okay, there we are, 5 volts. I was gonna say, I probed our meter into from the ground to the signal wire. I see it's 4.9, and I see up on the scan tool it pulled it down a little bit, so I knew I was in the wrong wire. So from ground to the 5 volt reference, there's our 5 volts on our meter down there. Okay, that was the last thing I wanted to check. Just simple through wire bypass test. Pretty simple, pretty standard stuff doing your 3-wire 5 volt sensor, bypass. You're either gonna, drive the signal high using your 5 volt reference and, pushing the signal wire high if it went to 0 volts when it was open, but this one went to 5. So we pulled it down low, just shorting the signal wire to ground and watching it drive low. And that tells it we don't have to do any checks. The computer works, all the wiring from here to the computer is good. And that's it. We have our 5 volt reference, we have our ground, and our signal wire is there, and they both function. We're able to drive it low and drive it high. And it also shows how sensitive the signal wires are, because I don't know what the impedance is on this meter. It's just some cheap Chinese thing. Probably 10 mega ohm, I would think. But even at that, just checking this from the signal wire to ground with a voltmeter, we actually pull it down, and it did. It pulled it down to 4.9 volts. So make sure you know that when you're going at it. But long story short, fuel tank pressure sensor's bad, connector's good. As soon as Mopar shows up with a new one, we'll pop it in there. I just popped this off while we're waiting. Well, how do you get it out of there, Rocco? Well, you do it by feel. This side of it you can't see. It's up on top of the tank. This side you obviously can. And they're pretty simple. They have a lock that goes on them here. Try to put it back together. So when this is in the vehicle, this is what you see. And then you just reach up and these two little blue wings that stick out. I just spread the wings and fly. I don't spread them and then just flick that blue tab up so it pops up. So that's in the lock position. Spread your wings, pop it up, and then you need to push in. Uh-oh, we got blood, boys. We got a bleeder. I didn't know it, so sorry if you're squeamish or have a vasovagal response to that and pass out because your vagus nerve is overactive. I don't know if that's the correct medical terms or not, but at any rate, once you spread your wings and you pop that little guy up, you just push in on this. So I usually use a little pocket screwdriver, push in, and that gives her the old spreadaroo in here. Technically, these little things pop apart and slide it off. Same thing on the inside, you just reach in, the little blue lock went flying because I just reached in and went like that and it went flying somewhere on top of the tank, not going to get it. And same thing, just reach up there with your finger, push down on that as hard as you can, and that opens up the jaws on the inside, and then slide it right out. Just click your new one in and bippity boppity bacon. All right, stand by. Oh, let's see, where's the part number? There's the part number for you, fresh from Mexico. It looks just like the old one. Here we are, key on, engine off. You can see we're closer to that 2.5 volt mark, so we're probably building some pressure because I've been sitting here talking to the very lovely Mrs. O. Let's go give it a little toot back here. Make sure these are very, very sensitive sensors. Give it the old toot there, and what's that take us to? Okay, 2.66 volts, and this is with the filler cap open. That's atmospheric pressure, so well within the parameters. Okay, system sealed up, and we would expect it to start to build pressure naturally, right? Okay, let me start the truck here. There, we got it running, boys. Let me set this back down. We'll wait for that purge to kick on. It might take a minute here. Let's see here. Oh, already opened on us. Ah, shoot, we missed it. Okay, so it's open. Switch went closed. And we're at, -3 inches of vacuum. All right, so this is more realistic readings here. Let me go key on, engine off, and we'll watch it maintain vacuum there. All right, we're back, key on, engine off. And I don't remember what the ESUM switches are calibrated at. I think somewhere is around the -2 inches, if I remember correctly. But yeah, and then, of course we've had it running, so it's naturally gonna continue to build pressure here really, really slowly, and then the ESUM switch will eventually come open. And this is how it uses it. It uses this switch for natural vacuum leak detection. I don't know how much it uses the fuel tank pressure sensor in diagnosis. Perhaps only in purge flow diagnosis. I think I remember reading something one time in Chrysler service data about the fuel tank pressure sensor. I thought that they said they didn't use it in their diagnosis strategy, which I would find weird, because if they didn't, they would have no idea that they had, incorrect purge flow, because the only other thing they could look at is the ESUM switch, which did not indicate that the purge was stuck open. So I talked myself right out of it. I do believe that they must use the fuel tank pressure sensor in some part of their strategy. Let's see, and then we can go back here and we can go back and set it. Whoa, unenhance. We can go back and relieve the vacuum. Sometimes you can hear them whoosh, but there's not much vacuum on it. Yep, so I heard a little whoosh there. Okay, I heard a whoosh. And then we should be back to that 0.6 or whatever it was at here. So yeah, our atmospheric pressure is good. So that's it, we're moving on. Well, that's it, folks. Lights out, cleared everything. I'm happy, you're happy, this guy will be happy. It's an easy fix. And I don't know what the lesson is to learn here. Use scan data, use what you know, look up stuff in service data. I didn't on this one because I've done these before. And it's often the same thing, but not always. You know, we've done it where it's actually a bad purge. You know, the purge is stuck open. And that's easy to diagnose too. We look at the same parameters. We start the vehicle. The purge command is 0, but all of a sudden we see that tank. You know, we see that ESIM switch go closed. We see the tank starting going into a vacuum. And, you know, how can that be? It says that it's commanded at 0. We go out and whack it with a screwdriver handle and everything's fixed. So just use your clues, use your data, use what you have at your disposal, I guess. I don't know what else to say. This was an easy one, but we have to get cranking here. I'm still sick, man. This dang Rona. Damn you, Rona! That's it. One of you guys are Rona right down into that comment section. Insta, the Facebook. You know where we're at. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.